Here's a quick shot of all the stuff I use when I'm building, and I'll put in the description box below a list of everything. But just to run off real quick, Rockite, anchoring cement, PET G, 3D printing filament, BB Dino, platinum silicone, various wet sanding papers, and diamond sanding pads for the cement. And then we use a general tile adhesive for doing our brick field and mortar work. And that's it, yo. Oh, it's not on here, but I'll add it below. Is the charcoal pigment that I used for the bricks and the ramps and stuff. All right, so we're gonna jump into our build, and my first design constraint that I'm doing for this park build is I want to use materials that I've already have. So I picked it out from like some scrap wood that I have, and I found a sheet of OSB. Measures around 17 inches wide, 42 inches long. This is going to be perfect for what we need. I'm gonna build a shadow box for our base. And what that means, a shadow box basically is exactly that. It casts a small shadow. So this length works. I don't really mind the extra overhang because we're gonna, cut these pieces down, and you can see we're gonna make a box. And this is what's gonna be able to support the weight of our cement without adding, needing to make using the material that I have on hand, which is just this OSB half-inch piece. So, this is like a dry mock-up, as they would call it. Nothing's screwed, nothing's been cut. I'm honestly just eyeballing the fitment right now. And like the cool part about this as I ramble and align it is this is going to create in furniture, it's called a reveal. And, we're not just like, let me put 2x2s down on all the corners and we're done. Like I'm thinking about the presentation of the piece. So it looks like this piece, we need to cut down the spec, not by much. And this one and this one. We've cut our pieces. I don't mind the extra reveal or like thick. And why am I rambling about it? It's not the end of the world. It's going to work for this build specifically. Yeah. So now the next step that we're going to do is to screw this down into our OSB sheet so that we now have some structure for the OSB. Make sure that we're on center 20. We know it. We want this to be 3/4 of an inch, and it is. We know we want this 3/4 of an inch, which it's not. That's more like 3/4 right there. Bring you down to like right there. And that will be good. I'm into that. I know people like cordless drills. I prefer corded. I feel like it's got more torque. But obviously a little bit more annoying to deal with. But that's all right. We got time and patience. Whoops. Nice. Cool. We have attachment. Everything here still looks pretty nice and even. Equal distance all the way around. I'm actually making sure I'm not screwing down into my other table, but we shouldn't be. Oh yeah, money. Now we'll just put you down. Oh, shifted. One more time. That will do. Oh yeah. Nope. Typical ADHD fashion, forgot to screw one hole or drill a hole. Uh-oh. Nope, there it was. I thought I would do it. I thought I'd drill into my table, and I did. LOL. All right, cool. So we've put down our frame on our foundation of our OSB. The next thing that we have to do is like whatever, seal our wood. Don't even know what I just knocked over. Oh, not much. But look, you can see now as the finishing touches of the shadow box get complete, we forgot to show that we actually drilled on top as well. So we secured from the base, then we came to the top and add screws all the way up here. Back to the video. We shadow boxed it. So the park itself will be giving a nice little relief before we actually get to the concrete work. So now let's grab some, I need to use some sealer. I'm just gonna use what I got on hand. So I have some Valspar like stone, cement sealer, but this will be fine for what we're doing. So I'm just gonna like give it a good coat. And the reason we're doing this is because when we get to our masonry, to our bricklaying work, we're going to put a tile adhesive. And this is like technical mumbo jumbo. Um, but basically, the wood can warp if you're putting that material down. It can start to want to bow and delam and warp because there's moisture potentially from those types of um, adhesives, tile adhesives. So this is just like a good thing to do. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure if, how well this will work, but I know it's a sealer, so I'm just using it because I have it on hand. I know materials they recommend the use. Obviously, this is saying it's a natural sealer for pavers, brick, and concrete, but it shouldn't matter with wood. It should still do its same purpose for what we need it to do. We just need to kind of seal up some of this material. And I need to do the 2x2s. Okay, I've 3D modeled this board, and now I'm determining the design that I want to approach for it. The cool part about this design off the bat is this. You know, you don't really have to move around the park itself, which is really nice. I'm a mediocre fingerboarder, and this is my personal build. And I already know we're not going to go, you know, historical skate spot, and I don't even want to do like competition park. It should be a training facility. Yeah, it's my training facility so that I can have more time to understand the body mechanics for fingerboarding. So I want to focus on how I can maximize the flow. I'm thinking kind of like a snake run. We've been in mock-up mode, and I've kind of been playing around with it for a little bit, and I've determined the training facility is going to be like plaza and transition. So what we're going to do is, using our silicone mold making kits, we're going to build a really beautiful hand poured, individually laid, like a brick mason, herringbone pattern floor. And that's going to carry on all of our flat surfaces. And then anything transition, I've chosen aesthetically, I want it to stay smooth with no textures. So I've been prototyping. I took dimensions of how wide, again, this is, and I created. So I've resolved this by coming up with this. This is what I've come up with after having this and this. So I liked the width of this, and I liked the overall length that we came up by just putting some stuff together. Nothing intense. Let's move some more stuff out of the way. Then, once we knew this pocket, I loved the idea of transition. Boom. So now we're going to have a piece in here. And now, what I meant by training facility, it's like you drop in and you have to use your hand and push on your trucks to pivot it to going for, oh, nice, not bad, shitty landing, but like, you see what I mean? It's already doing its job. This is our one transition piece, but I also wanted to have like a bold corner, like inner radius is the term, inner to outer radius, if we're going to get technical. And spoiler alert, I've already designed it, already 3D printed it, and casted it. I 3D printed, molded, and made the silicone molds, casted our transition pieces. We've already now casted our components. We've mocked up where our 3D structure is going to go for the extra heights and the levels of our build of the training facility. And now we're at the point where we need to do the dry run mock-up of our herringbone brick pattern. We have done our dry run. We have all of our parts molded and casted, and we're into final assembly. So we're going to start with epoxy, our 3D printed parts, and getting the alignment proper before we jump into the bricks. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get to work. We're going to use most of this that Normally you'd want something to mix this stuff together on, but I'm honestly gonna do it right on the part. So we got a little crazy right there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little frustrated that I got the epoxy kind of screwed up, and now I've taken the ledge off before it cured. That's okay. We'll figure this out. That's part of the process. As for the 3D print, I already know how to clean up some of the epoxy, which we're gonna have to do. I'm not worried about it up here. And I think this is cool because, you know, I could have really freaked out about how this is not exactly what I thought was going to happen, but it's all right because we'll give it some time and we'll go back, assess, clean up some of our excess glue, and move forward from there. We don't allow this to affect us to where we're not going to finish the build. All right, my mic's not on. I haven't done a lot of filming. We lost space. So I wanted to touch base of where I'm at. And it looks crazier than it is because we've been grouting with our tile adhesive as we go through and laying our brick field. So we ran into a few issues, and I'll explain. There's a plane this direction and this direction. So when you start your pattern, you have to stay within that direction. But my brain got confused going around this, and that's okay. Still working, it reads really nice. But I wanted to just touch base in my video about rolling with punches, not letting things stop, and continue to build your work. The pattern's pretty cool because it interlocks all the stuff anyway. But what I'm doing right now is if you look at this line, I think that this is working well enough to kind of save this part. And then we're gonna have terminating from here. So this is fine, this is fine. I'm happy with this part of the build. Obviously we're still not complete. There's still no sealer yet. We still have some more sanding and cleanup, but I'm not mad about up here. This is working good. And our ledge is working good. We just need to resolve this part of the field again. And our coping needs to be cleaned up. The transitions look good. We've done a lot. We're in the final 5%, but this is important when you're working on stuff to make these kinds of choices to make the repair. And that's what I've decided to do, to make the repair, because it's what's going to make this build that much nicer. Good morning, YouTube. Here we are. We're probably on day 7 or 8 of our build, clearly behind where we need to go. But what's important is the other night when we ripped up our field is because we needed to keep the planes this direction. I was probably talking about it in a different clip. We're learning how to edit and whatnot. But now if you've noticed, we have this direction. So now we feed all of our field this way. And before, I had the problem because I started over in this corner and I started at this corner. So this is a plane and then this was a plane. They just collided and then my form started to get affected. So I'm proud. We've been doing this for about 20-30 minutes. We've adjusted the field and it's exactly what you think. Just stagger it all the way up. So here we go. I am going to get back to my build. All right, let me put this up. We'll put it up. So I'm getting there, cleaning it off. Temporarily installed the legs and I cracked it. The screw was too long and it popped through. That's okay. I'm going to repair it. But this is why we've done what we're doing. Even with your design, you know, it's all process. So, and this is my personal thing, you know that. And I think now, yeah, spent all this time getting it semi cleaned up and then cracked it. But look, it kind of like, it wobbles too much on this design. So, oh, what a day. As you can see, we've started the repair from our misalignment and our bad decision making with installing those stock hairpin legs. Brackets. Let's talk about them real quick since we had to do a minor repair to the surface of our brand new park. Gotta love that. Um, because we use those factory parts and we didn't really plan for how it would attach is why we ran into that problem. So we solved it by creating, oh, let's see if I can get to it. Yeah, there it is. I hope you all can see it. A 3D printed bracket that wraps around our 2x2 shadow box, which is super dope. It's stronger than how that hairpin would work. This leg that we're using is still temporary. We'll get it to the right height, but for now, we just needed to prove the concept of our design. Actually, if that's a video that anyone's interested in watching, leave a comment down below. So I'll post on my whole iterative design process on making that kind of stuff. Yeah. So even though we're rambling, let's jump back to a few other tasks, which is applying our last coat of sealer, and then let's show off some final build shots. One more quick PSA. I know I like jump around a lot in the video and I'm learning a lot about how to film this stuff while actually doing it at the same time and not like over explaining in processes. And I'm just figuring it out. So, in closing, if you have any questions or you've got advice on what I could do to film better or talk about more or dive into further or what isn't working, let me know because I don't know. I'm trying to learn all of this so that we can get more of this information out there. And I'm not even claiming that I know everything. A lot of what I like to do is experiment, push the limits, and see how far I can go. But I need your help as well to see where we can take this journey. So appreciate you guys. Hope everyone's doing great. Smash, I hate saying that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you guys. Peace.